Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this week's recap of the week. So this segment has now become a regular fixture on this channel now, but to those people new to it, in this segment we revisit the videos that we have done in the course of the week, and we curate 5 of them for your Sunday lazy Sunday listening. Is effectively, that is the thinking behind it, a lazy Sunday listening sort of recap of the week. So we've curated for this week, and the main thrust of this week is corruption. So no surprises there. We're talking Nigeria, of course, and once you mention the word Nigeria, it's usually followed by the word corruption. So let's get straight into it. The first video we're going to is the Ibrahim Magu narrative, ongoing, ever ongoing. Ibrahim Magu has now been released from detention, and he has been recounting his experience both at FCC and detention. He describes it as dog eat dog, and he explains it in this video. So enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, we're back on the Ibrahim Magu matter, a story that shows no give. Now guys, we're late to the latest development, but nevertheless, here it is. Magu speaks after release from detention. So of course, Ibrahim Magu was released a day or two ago, so that's why I said we're late to the development, but haven't been released. Now he now speaks. Again, the headline, Magu speaks after release from detention. So now let's now see what the Wayo man has to say. The suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, has spoken after his release from detention. According to an exclusive interview obtained, Magu asked Nigerians not to give up on the fight against corruption. He said whether he's the chairman of EFCC or not, Nigerians must own the war against corruption, which President Muhammadu Buhari is determined to eradicate. So this is Ibrahim Magu now speaking in his own words. The embattled EFCC boss said what he went through was one of those risks of the job, adding that all the allegations flying around were to tarnish his image and that of the EFCC. He noted, "As for me, I will forever wage a war against corruption. I urge Nigerians to continue to support the fight against corruption. They should not give up on the fight because corruption kills a nation faster than any other thing. It is not a personal fight. Whether I am chairman of EFCC or not, the anti-corruption war must continue. What I have gone through is a case of dog eats dog, but I see it as one of those risks of the job. We must not give up in any way." Speaking on the allegations filed against him, Magu said, "They are nonsense. They are mere trumped up allegations to tarnish my image and that of the EFCC. I did not steal or divert or convert funds for private use. I read the allegations and I was shocked." So he was shocked was his response to that allegation, but of course he would say that. So I am not weighing on one side or the other, but saying I am shocked is not enough to exonerate him. It's just all that I am saying. He continues, "I thank Nigerians for their support. They should not be discouraged. I am happy to be back. I believe the war against corruption is winnable." Earlier, it was reported that Victor Ubani, a former vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), has faulted President Buhari for keeping Magu for 5 years without being confirmed by the Senate. Ubani said the president should have sought confirmation from the Senate or replaced Magu. He said an acting chairman should not have been in the running for the permanent position. If you look at the act that created the office of the chairmanship of the EFCC, there is no room for acting capacity, even though people will want to have a recourse to the interpretation that if you have the power to appoint, you also have the power to put someone in an acting capacity. But what happened in Magu's case is that you sent him for confirmation and the Senate rejected him, and you now kept him in an acting capacity for 5 years. Even if somebody has to serve in an acting capacity, it shouldn't be up to a year because there must be confirmation as required by law, Ubani said. So this is the travails of Ibrahim Magu now that we're still contending with. This story, of course, is going to run and run. I suspect that this story is just at the beginnings of it because there's still a lot of mysteries behind this story. But this guy has now come out into the public space, having been held for 10 days by the Buhari regime, to now say that what's happened to him is a dog-eat-dog situation. So dog-eat-dog or lion-eat-lion or corruption eats corruption. So it's more like a corruption. There's absolutely no sympathy for this element called Ibrahim Magu. From my quarters, I have no sympathy for this guy because, of course, the DSS, which was acting under the Buhari regime, submitted a report to say that this guy, Ibrahim Magu, was corrupt and not fit for purpose. Buhari ignored that DSS report and submitted his name to the Senate anyway. The Senate then was under Bukola Saraki. So when the Senate then read through the presentation and they took into cognizance the DSS report, they rejected this guy, saying that this guy is really not fit for purpose because he's not of good standing and is a corrupt character, and we cannot have a corrupt character even in a country like Nigeria heading the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. So this was what the Senate said to Buhari. But Buhari, as ever, in his arrogance of ignorance, this is a man, by the way, that doesn't have a school cert, but he thinks he's wiser than everybody. So Buhari, in his ever arrogance of ignorance, decided that he knows better than all the PhD holders in the Senate. At least 30% of them, they are well educated. The rest of them are just Malamis. But he says he knows better than the highly educated people in the Senate, the superbly internationally revered Nigerian population. He knows better than all of those people, and he knows better than this EFCC report. And he said, whether you confirm this guy or not, I will continue to retain him in that post. So he continued to retain Ibrahim Magu in that post in spite of all of the corruption allegations that has been leveled against this guy. So now Ibrahim Magu, you would be surprised to hear me say, is a victim in all of this situation, because Ibrahim Magu, in all honesty, was a corrupt man. He has never presented himself as anything other than a corrupt policeman, and the Nigerian state has identified him as a corrupt policeman, and they have presented the evidence to the no school cert president Malam Buhari that we have, that this guy is indeed a corrupt policeman. But our uneducated president has decided in his superior wisdom, his wisdom so superior that is better and more knowledgeable than Wole Soyinka and Chinua Achebe and Femi Falana and all of these sort of prominent people, or the Lamido Sanusi, and he is more intelligent than all of these people. So he has, and all of the Senate, of course, is more intelligent than all of them. So he has decided in his wisdom or lack of, that this guy that everybody has said that is a criminal, and they have presented evidence to show that he is indeed a criminal, is the man best suited out of the 200 million people according to their statistics, because of course they are counting their own relatives from Niger Republic and Chad and everything as part of being the Nigerian state. So he has decided that all of these people that have come up to the conclusion that Ibrahim Magu is not fit for purpose because of his antecedents, that all of these people are of low IQ and they don't have the brain function to understand that Ibrahim Magu is indeed the best person for the job. So he has put Ibrahim Magu in that space and continued to renew his acting capacity, saying he's acting, and he has been acting for 5 good years, and being ever the excellent actor that he is, better than Odunlade Adekola or whatever his name is, being ever the excellent artist that this Ibrahim Magu is, he has acted his way into taking a good $1 billion out of the Nigerian state within 5 years, and he has packed it in Dubai and all over the world because he's just looting the whole place, because of course he was a looter before he was brought in, and when Buhari assented to him, he thought that was a nod and a wink to him carrying on his looting ways. The person, of course, that was his godfather was Abakari, and that one has now passed on. So now the wind has blown now, and we are seeing the behind of the chicken. Conversations in the comment section. This video has gone on for longer than I had intended, but a lot had to be said and it needed to be said, and I'm saying it. But what says you is really where my interest is, so come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that really helps the channel, because then YouTube promotes the videos more. So click on like, please. Then once you've done all 3 clicks, come into the comment section, come tell me what you're making of this Ibrahim Magu saga. So I will leave you here, carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace. So hope you enjoyed that. Next up, we go to the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. This guy has been enmeshed in a plethora of corruption allegations, a lot of them emanating from Sahara reporters. So all these allegations are backed up with a photo and video evidence. In this particular video that you're about to watch, you will see a little snippet of a video of this guy, Abubakar Malami's son's wedding, and then you have to reflect on corruption and social distancing, etc. But watch the video and enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, I am about to play you a very short video clip, but before I play that clip, I would like you to bear 2 things in mind: the social distancing rules that apply in Nigeria at the moment, and the Nigerian law also regarding abuse and misuse of the Nigerian note. So I'll play you that clip now. Okay, so guys, what you saw in that clip was the son of the Attorney General of Nigeria and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, getting married. So let's leave aside the ostentatious wedding, which of course you have to query where the money came from, because this is a guy that is on a salaried income. But really what we're looking at is not just that, but equally the abuse of the social distancing rule. And if you look at the person that is at the heart of this abuse, then it makes it even more pertinent and profound, because the person, of course, that is at the heart of this abuse of a rule that is germane to the Nigerian being at the moment is no less a person than the chief law enforcer of the country, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. So the person flouting the social distancing rule is effectively the person at the forefront of enforcing the social distancing rule. And the person also flouting the abuse of the naira is the person, of course, at the forefront of that. With that, guys, I bring you this. Northern Youth Group asks President Buhari to sack Malami for living extravagant lifestyle at the detriment of Nigerians. So this is now the third element of this now catalog, a cacophony of abuse of position now that is just been presented by this Abubakar Malami. So the extravagant lifestyle is the one thing, the disregard for the rule of law is another thing, and the person disregarding it, as we said, is the Attorney General. Again, the headline, Northern Youth Group ask President Buhari to sack Malami for living extravagant lifestyle at the detriment of Nigerians. So now let's now see what infighting is going on amongst the Malamis. The coalition of Northern Youth has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to sack the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami over his flamboyant and luxurious lifestyle at the detriment of Nigerians. The group, in a statement by its national convener, Comrade Mohammed Ishaq, on Thursday, said the irresponsible naira reign at the lavish wedding ceremony for the minister's son, Abdulaziz, is tantamount to an affront on the sensibilities of Nigerians, particularly the youth, who wallow in abject poverty and massive unemployment. The statement reads, "We as a coalition that represents millions of youth from various nooks and crannies of northern Nigeria are pained to witness a blatant display of extravagance during the wedding ceremony of Abubakar Malami's son that took place last week." Considering the position Malami is occupying as the chief law officer of the Federation and someone who hails from the region with the highest number of the poor in Nigeria, it is unbecoming of him to allow such an irrational spending and reckless display of extravagance by members of his family. The irresponsible and daredevil naira reign at a lavish wedding ceremony for his son Abdulaziz is tantamount to an affront on the sensibilities of Nigerians, particularly the youth who wallow in abject poverty and massive unemployment. Spraying the United States dollar and Nigerian naira, which characterized the ceremony in contravention of the CBN rule prohibiting the abuse of the naira currency in public, is morally odoriferous, considering the fact that it happened at a time when unprecedented penury and widespread joblessness pushed Nigerian youths into various forms of criminality, such as kidnapping, banditry, fraud, terrorism, amongst others. If Abubakar Malami is endowed with moral conscience, we ask him to honorably resign, as his continued stay in the capacity of Minister of Justice is synonymous with celebrating grossness and recklessness in governance. The group further called on President Buhari and the National Assembly to investigate the heavy corruption allegations leveled against Malami. It added, "We also call on President Muhammadu Buhari and the National Assembly to meticulously investigate the heavy corruption allegations leveled against Malami that include having a mansion worth 100 million naira in Kebbi State in the name of his son Abdulaziz, owning a massive event center already in use, and three-star hotel under construction named Asbea Arena along Sani Abacha Bypass Road in Benin Kebbi, owning a newly constructed school at the back of Nitel in Gese Phase 1, also in Benin Kebbi, purchasing a 300 million naira mansion in Abuja, and ordering the auction of crude oil and diesel seized by the Nigerian government from an oil firm known as Omed J Nigeria Limited. All the allegations raised are too heavy to ignore, considering the position Malami is occupying as the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation. In the circumstance Malami fails to resign within 10 days, our coalition has no option but to mobilize our members for a nationwide protest to press home our demands. The above call and stands are made in the best interest of the nation, having considered the fact that corruption, particularly by public office holders, has eaten deep into the fabric of Nigeria, and Nigerians have to stand up against it before it consumes us all. So this is now the Northerners now taking a stance against this Malami situation, but then of course it is just too brazen, it is too vulgar, it is too obscene for anybody to ignore. And if you weigh it against the poverty, as this article rightly said, that you see all over Nigeria, because the average Nigerians is so impoverished that those older people that you used to call uncles and aunties, and they used to give you all this 10 naira to go and buy biscuits, are the people now tapping you on the shoulder and asking you to open your wallet. Everybody is just on the rob now. All the girls are now using their bodies to earn a living, and all the boys are on the street in a country that is the 30th wealthiest country on the planet. This is the dichotomous situation that we find ourselves in Nigeria. And then you see this display of opulence and excessiveness by this Malami. Malami, by the way, Abubakar Malami, was a fairly unknown, relatively unknown lawyer before he became the Minister of Justice in 2015. So how he became that Minister of Justice, how he got that position, is a subject for another video. But this was some obscure lawyer who was just taken along because he was the only probably educated person in Kebbi State, so was able to eke a living out of that. And suddenly he's transposed into the Minister of Justice, a position, by the way, that is educationally and cranially not qualified for. And then suddenly he's now displaying the wealth of an Arab prince. So this is now the situation, and is the person, of course, that is pointing corruption fingers at everybody, is the one that got Ibrahim Magu detained. And of course, after he got Ibrahim Magu detained was when these little things are now coming out in the public space. So Ibrahim Magu, of course, the guy in charge of EFCC, he has his boys, and his boys, of course, are now just throwing all these infos now out to Sahara reporters in New York, and then we're having a field day, having a look at how this guy is living. 300 million naira wedding gift for his son, a property that he purchased in a plush area of Abuja, 3-star hotel that he built for himself, shopping complex built in the name of his son, for his son, vast mansions built along the choicest places within Kebbi State for all of his family. Every member gets a property, so you can imagine the sort of property he lives in. But then of course he doesn't have properties only in Nigeria. And this, by the way, was we have to remind ourselves, this, by the way, was an obscure lawyer from Kebbi State pre 2015, before he became the Minister of Justice. Conversations in the comment section have often said that the Nigerian state is just one giant criminal enterprise, and the chief law officer, no less a person, is at the forefront, apparently, of that act of criminality. Come share thoughts, but before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all three, then come tell me now what you're making of what you're seeing within the Nigerian space in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. We're still with the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and he is now reacting to all of these exposés now coming out of Sahara reporters, and is of course threatening to go after Omoyele Sowore. That is in a different video to come, but in this particular video that I'm about to show you now, his minions are gathering in groups to strategize on how to go after Sahara reporters, even though Sahara reporters is actually based in New York. So it's explained in this video, so enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, over the last few weeks or so, there's been a simmering battle that's been going on between the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and the online publication Sahara Reporters. Sahara Reporters, of course, are Omoyele Showore's organization. So Sahara Reporters has been doing an expository series on Malami over the last few weeks or so. They've been posting videos and articles of how this Malami guy has been gorging on the excess that is the largest of the Nigerian states, just living life like an Arab prince. Clearly corruption, because some of the monies that you're seeing being spent by this guy are beyond the realms of anything that a salary can afford. And this really, at least the series that they have been doing, and I will refer you also to Sahara Reporters, both their publication and their YouTube channel. You see a lot of it there. The sort of life that this Malami is living is the highest of the heights of corruption. This is corruption gold standard, according to what we're seeing from Sahara Reporters. So this battle now is now simmering to a crescendo as, guys, I bring you this group allegedly sponsored by Nigeria's Attorney General Malami to fight Sahara Reporters over expository reports. So he has now hired a crew of I'm not quite sure if I'll call them PR men, because these are not actual PR men. These are just like a HIT squad, but like an online sort of HIT squad. So to go now to confront the Sahara Reporters reportage frontally. So again, the headline: group allegedly sponsored by Nigeria's Attorney General Malami to fight Sahara Reporters over expository reports. So now let's now see how this is being detailed. Another group allegedly sponsored by Nigeria's Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami (SAN) has attacked and threatened Sahara Reporters over its expository report of its corruption-fueled lifestyle. The group, based in Kebbi, held a meeting to determine how to fight Sahara Reporters at the office of Kadiya, located behind the School of Nursing, Benin, Kebbi, a building which belongs to Malami. Reading from a prepared text, the group leader said, "This coalition considers it imperative to address the libelous attacks and campaign of calumny against the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami (SAN), by Sahara Reporters aimed at tarnishing the image of the minister. We have observed with great alarm over the years the malicious attack from selected prominent personalities, particularly from the north, by Sahara Reporters, and condemn in strongest terms the continued false publications. We would like to make it clear that the coordinated attacks on the personality of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami (SAN) by Sahara Reporters will not be condoned lightly anymore. This is not the first time Malami would sponsor a group to attack the New York-based news organization. On Tuesday, another group linked to the Attorney General, named Equity and Justice in Politics and Governance, asked Nigerian government to sanction and regulate Sahara Reporters. Malami, a little-known lawyer before his appointment in 2015 by President Muhammadu Buhari, is today ranked amongst the richest men in Nigeria, with finances linked to corruption. He has failed to account for the source of his wealth and has also threatened to sue Sahara Reporters for expository reports, which he said has cost him trauma. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, this ludicrousness, because I have seen plentifully and I will try and attach a video clip of some of these things and picture slides if I can, but if I can't, then I'll point you in the direction of where to find them. But there are plentiful evidence of how this guy is spending money out there. Fantastic hotels, buildings, shopping malls being built by his 20-something-year-old son, with a vast estate built next to it within their geographical space in Kebbi State. Houses all over Abuja, what billions and billions, vast hotels, etc., etc. All this from a person that was just an average lawyer before Malam Buhari plucked him from obscurity to make him the minister of Justice. So why would you, in a country like Nigeria that is known for the legal profession above all else? Let me tell you a funny thing. In some smaller African states, the Supreme Court of those states are actually sat on by Nigerian lawyers, predominantly lawyers from the southern part of Nigeria. So in places like Gambia and Sierra Leone, etc., their highest case, the people who sit in judgment on that are Nigerian justices and the Nigerian legal system, especially and almost exclusively the southern legal system. So you had all of that with us having say, overriding say over other countries, and you go and pluck some obscure guy from Kebbi State to come and be the Minister of Justice, to sit on top of people like Falana, the country that had Fawemi, may so rest in peace, and Rotimi Williams. These are the countries that produced all of these prominent names, and the only person that you can't find to sit on top of that is this character, this Abubakar Malami. What is his antecedents? What are his qualifications? What qualifies him for that position? Which schools did he go to? Which seminal cases has he won? Which publications has he published a debate within the legal field? What has he done in law that qualifies him for that eminent position? Because that is one of the most premier positions within the Nigerian space, the Attorney General of the Federation, and you go and pluck some obscure guy and put him in place there. But of course, if you pluck an obscure guy to put him in a place that is not really suited to, which is of course the calling card of this particular Buhari regime, the calling card, the signature tune of the Buhari regime is to appoint through tribalism, irrespective of competence. We've seen it all the way through. All you hear anytime that they announce an appointment to fill in a space that is available within the governmental structure of Nigeria is Abubakar, Usman, Mukhtar, etc. These are the people that are occupying spaces, and Abubakar and Mukhtar can occupy any space that they like, so long as they have the cranial function and the rigor and the sagacity and the understanding of the field and experience and backing. But these people, of course, none of them have absolutely anything to offer anything. All they have is religion and ethnicity, and that is the only qualifying criteria within the Nigerian space, and that is why we see all these things repeat again and again. Conversations in the comment section. Malami is after Sowore now, not that he ever departed from him. He's been chasing this guy now, I think, for a year or two now, since pretty much the elections. Insulting the president was one of the charges that they leveled against him. You remember cyberbullying. They're accusing a politics-based news publication of cyberbullying the country where the interest of that publication is most vested. It's like you are accusing the New York Times of bullying Donald Trump. Who else is the New York Times going to criticize apart from Donald Trump? Is it Buhari that the New York Times will focus on? Or is it the president of Togo that the English Times will focus on? Or the Guardian in the UK? Or the Bild in Germany? Is it going to focus on what is happening in Upper Volta or wherever? It's just ridiculousness. So criticizing the president now is a crime that is punishable by detention. And you would remember, of course, that they are trying to introduce an anti-free speech bill now that comes with a capital punishment. So this is a sort of regime that we're doing. But never mind. Sahara Reporters is thankfully based in New York, and I'm sure that the reach of the Buhari regime cannot extend to that space. Conversations in the comment section, they're still trying to shut Sowore down, even though they are holding him down already. But this guy, of course, he would never give up without a fight. There's nothing Sowore loves more than a fight. Come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns grey. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Come tell me now in the comment section what you make of this bully boy tactics that has been adopted by somebody in no loftier position, in no less a lofty position than the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Nigerian space, Malami. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say, Peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So we're still with the corruption theme. I did tell you it was going to be heavy on corruption. The next story that I'm about to bring you, the next video, is no different. We're going to Governor Yemsom Wike, a lady called Joy Nunea, and Godswill Akpabio. So you can already see from that mix that it can only be about corruption. So the Niger Delta Development Commission is now being audited, and this is throwing up a lot of furore within the Nigerian space. This lady now is at the heart of the evidence that is needed to establish exactly what is going on within that commission, and thus she's under pressure from Akpabio to the point that Wike has to come and rescue. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, a follow-up on the Joy Nunea story that we recently did, the NDDC lady. So Governor Yemsom Wike has chimed in, and this is what he has to say. Guys, I bring you this. NDDC probe, no harm must befall Joy Nunea, Wike wants. So that's the headline now that we're contending with. Governor Wike, of course, a leading governor from that region, so vested interest in the matters of NDDC, and particular attention to this lady. Headline again, NDDC probe, no harm must befall Joy Nunea, Wike wants. So now let's now see what warning Governor Wike is giving. Rivers State Governor Yemsom Wike has warned that no harm must befall the former managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC, Joy Nunea. Governor Wike issued the warning in a statement by his Commissioner for Information and Communication, Paulinus Nserim, in Port Harcourt. The state government said whilst it commends the ongoing probe in the NDDC, it will never support any action that will prevent or jeopardize the laudable intentions of President Muhammadu Buhari to positively reposition the NDDC and fulfill the yearnings and aspirations of the people of the Niger Delta. Wike said Rivers State owes it a duty to protect her citizens from danger, no matter their political affiliation, and we cannot fold our hands and watch anyone harm her or any Rivers citizen. The Rivers State government has viewed with concern the recent developments at the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC, in which the name of our daughter, Dr. Joy Nunea, the immediate past acting managing director of the commission, has been dragged into. However, we wish to state that whilst we are not interested in identifying with the present unfolding drama in the NDDC, we will not, however, fail to protect our daughter from actual harm or perceived danger, the statement reads. The Rivers State government called on those involved in the ongoing investigations in the NDDC to ensure that Joy Nunea does not suffer any harm in the course of their undertakings. The former NDDC boss, Joy Nunea, is embroiled in an altercation with the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, with the former accusing the minister of malfeasance, oath-taking, and sexual approach, allegations Akpabio have denied. So now this is now Wike, of course, chiming in. Wike, of course, will always chime in. Wike is the first to the scene of any fight that is going on within the Nigerian space. Wike is this now new terms. Ayodele Fayose is now the Fayose of this second term of the Buhari regime. So we had Fayose before he left his seat, having served 2 terms. So Wike is now the new Peter the Rock that we are now contending with, the voice of the people by his own reckoning, and the champion of the oppressed in this instance, at least, is positioning himself as such. So Wike stands up for this lady who can stand up for herself, having dished Akpabio one nice juicy slap. So now the second slap now Wike is waiting to dish to this Akpabio character. Conversations in the comment section. Wike stands up, How are you standing? What is your position? Come share them with me in the comment section. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns grey. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all three, come into the comment section. Come tell me what you're making of the goings on within this NDDC place that is noted for corruption. Now Akpabio, a man that is the linchpin, the King One, the Don One of corruption within the Nigerian space, now in charge of that space. So looting extraordinaire is what we should expect. But what is your expectation? So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section. But here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So the final video we're going to is Yemi Osinbajo, the guy that purports to be the vice president of Nigeria, even though we never see him putting up any appearances or making any performances. It's just there as decoration, according to some people, according to a lot of people actually. A lot of people are of the view that Yemi Osinbajo is just in that office, the office of the vice president, just there to look ornate. So now, off the back of that, this guy has now come out into the public space to discuss his presidential ambitions for 2023. All that is detailed in this subsequent video, so enjoy. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, you can make of this what you will, but I am taking it with a grain of salt. Guys, I bring you this. Osinbajo clears air on 2023 presidential ambition. So this is the vice president of Nigeria now coming out into the public space to speak about what is going to happen in 2023 with regards to himself. So again, Osinbajo clears air on 2023 presidential ambitions. Before getting into the story, I am dismissing it out of hand, but let's get into the story and you can make your decision. Nigeria's vice president Yemi Osinbajo has no intention of contesting to be president in 2023, according to his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Laolu Akande. Akande stated this whilst answering questions on an Instagram live chat with the publisher of Ovation magazine, Dele Mamudu, on Monday. Mamudu asked Akande if the attacks his principal has faced recently was part of a plan to disrupt any ambition the vice president has in 2023. In response, Akande insisted that Osinbajo's major focus was to support President Muhammadu Buhari until their tenure elapses. I am his spokesperson, and all I know he wants to do is to do this job that he has been given very well, and he doesn't have any other plans right now about any such thing. I can tell you that quite clearly. So he says, I can tell you that quite clearly, but what he has just stated is as clear as mud. So let's just recap what he said again, so just we're clear and then we can unpick it. I am a spokesperson, yes he is, and all I know he wants to do is this job that he has been given very well. Yes, that's fair enough, he can't say otherwise. Of course he wants to do the job that he has been given very well, and he doesn't have any other plans right now about any such thing. So that is now the pertinent part of that whole statement, that paragraph, and he doesn't have any other plans. So he is speaking, of course, on behalf of Yemi Osinbajo, but Yemi Osinbajo is not the person speaking, and he doesn't have any other plans right now. So those two words are the words that you have to hang on to. So right now is right at that moment, but the moment after is a different set of circumstances, of course. So I am not right now is not I am not in the future. We all understand that, so there's no real mystery behind that phrasing. So he doesn't have any plans right now about any such thing. I can tell you that quite clearly. So he can state that quite clearly, of course, because as far as he is saying, and if you unpick what he is saying, because he of course is a spokesperson and not the principal himself, so as far as he is saying and as far as he understands, Yemi Osinbajo does not have any plans towards 2023 2023. That is not to say Yemi Osinbajo does not have those plans, and that is not to say that Yemi Osinbajo will not have those plans the moment after he has said that. But as far as his understanding, Yemi Osinbajo does not have those plans. So you can see the trick of language right there. That's obfuscation. I seem to use that word quite a lot. That is some sort of like a magic trick, sleight of hand with language that this guy is trying to play. But we carry on. He has said to me several times, see, Laolu, this is not a monarchy. We are going to be here for 4 or at best 8 years. Let's just focus and do the work so that when we are gone, people will say we did this and we did that. So he's entirely consumed by the job. I am a spokesperson and we have not talked about what he's going to do in 2023. What is the point? Akande said. So this is now this guy now making a denial on behalf of Osinbajo. And this trick that Nigerian politicians play with this spokesperson type of utterances in the public space. I'm not sure if I am going to be describing it as clever, because it's not especially clever, because if you can see through it quite easily, then it is not especially clever. But what they are doing, speaking via a spokesperson, is to afford themselves room for deniability. So if a spokesperson says something on behalf of a principal, and then in the future that thing is then called to question or is under intense scrutiny, the principal can then come out in front of the cameras to say the person that spoke on his behalf misunderstood the conversation that they had. Quite honestly, you know, he can just play it around, not even blame the guy, say maybe I did not even express myself properly to him, but here is me now expressing myself properly to you guys now in my own words, and the direction of follow is different from one that was expressed by my spokesperson. So this is why they use all these spokespersons, and this guy, you have to be clear in what he's saying. He's saying that right now Osinbajo is not intending towards 2023, and he has not discussed intentions towards 2023 with him. So there are several elements to that. That one can be in the first instance an outright lie. This guy could be just lying, or he could be telling the truth as well, but not of course speaking the intentions of Osinbajo, because the intentions of Osinbajo may not have been shared with him. That's not to say that they do not exist. So you can see all these clever tricks with language, and that is why essentially all these people put all these spokesperson in front of them, between them and the cameras. Conversations in the comment section, the vice president spokesperson is trying to have us believe that Osinbajo does not have ambitions towards 2023, even though he has seen the power that the first seat of the Nigerian space wields. Come share thoughts about all this with me in the comment section. Do you believe or disbelieve? But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done all three, then come tell me now what you are thinking regarding this positioning of Osinbajo in the comment section. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace. Hope you enjoyed that. So those are the 5 videos for this week, the 5 recap. I hope they met with your liking. So now what you need to do now is to come into the comment section to describe what you have just listened to, so you can either speak to an individual video or speak to a series of videos. But whatever comments you have to make, come make them in the comment section. So I'll join you in that comment section to engage. But before we both go to the comment section, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. Click on the bell button as well. That way you're notified every time there's a new video on the channel, and we post daily, multiply. So click on the bell button as well. Then click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. It just tells YouTube that the video is liked, so that they can promote it to more people. So once you've done all that, come meet me in the comment section. I will discuss all of the videos or individual videos. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.